everyone, welcome to another episode of Fortnightly French. I'm really wishing that I hadn't called the series Fortnightly French because these videos have clearly not been fortnightly. I think this is, it's been maybe a couple months since the last one, but yes, I am here. I'm going to do a very quick video just about some books, well, 2 books that I have that I'm using to help me learn French. I am doing other things. I'm keeping up my Babbel vocabulary review, which is basically everything that you've learned on Babbel, it tests you on that. I have done a lot of videos about Babbel and my experience with Babbel, and I'll link the French and France playlist that I have in whichever corner, the little, I think it's this one or that one. I've done like a whole review of the Babbel website and stuff like that, and I really love Babbel. So I've been keeping up the vocabulary review on that, and I've also been playing around a lot with Memrise, and I might make a different video about Memrise if you would like that, if anyone would like me to do a video about Memrise. But I'm just also using these books because I now don't really have any way of expanding my French knowledge until the summer, when I'm going to be hopefully taking some classes here in Paris. This is not really Paris, just outside of Paris, but the classes will be in Paris. I'm not sure how long I will be taking the classes for, but I'm hoping to be here for 3 months. So I don't know, it could be several months worth of classes, so that's exciting. But until then, books. You came for books, I'm going to give you books. I got both of these for Christmas from my boyfriend, and one of them I asked for and one of them was like a surprise. So the first one is this one. It's a bilingual book of The Little Prince, and this is like one of the best-selling books of all time, but I've actually never heard of it until now. But yeah, it's kind of like a story about like this pilot, and he crashes in the desert, and like he meets this little boy, and the little boy's from like a different planet, and he has some like interesting observations about grown-ups. I've actually not finished all of it, so maybe that's not a good true synopsis of what happens. There was a film released last year, and I think it's coming out this year in English, of like an adaptation of this, and I've seen it and it's pretty cute, but I don't know how much it follows this story. So the great thing about this book, I got this on Amazon, I'll put the link below, but obviously if it turns out to be like a crap link, you know, it's not my fault. What you choose to buy is up to you. But what it has that's really good about it is it has one side is written in French and the other side is written in English, and it has like kind of underlined phrases to help you know where you are in the text. Whereas some other books, they have like the French on that side and the English on that side. It can be like, you can kind of get lost. But I really like this one. I actually thought it was going to be a bit smaller because I was hoping to read it on the train, but it's still pretty good. It seems very good quality. It has the drawings in it. But yeah, I like this, and it comes with a, I put it in here because the plastic thing broke from the back of the book. In the back it has a disc. This isn't actually a CD, it's like a kind of data disc, I guess you would call it. You can put it in your computer and you can get the MP3s off, but I don't think it will play in like a CD player. But that's fine for me. I put them into my computer, I rip them off, and I put it on my phone. It has the audio in French and in English. So I've been kind of playing around with, you know, listening to the English version of the story whilst reading the French, or, you know, you can do all sorts of different combinations. And I've really been liking this. I think it's a really cute story, and it seems to have some kind of interesting, sort of, not philosophical, but some good observations about how we live our lives. So it's definitely not just for kids. Also in the front of it has a little bit about, a couple notes about how you should approach learning languages, which I thought was pretty interesting. So yeah, that's that book, and I'll maybe do a review when I finished it of how useful I found it, but at the moment I'm enjoying it. And then my boyfriend got me this, which is the latest Asterix comic book thing. If you don't know what Asterix and Obelix are, I think that's how I pronounce it. It's kind of like very famous French cartoon kind of comic strip thing, and they do have several films, and he told me this is the latest one, so if it's not, so yeah, so it's like all inside is like a comic with like pictures and stuff like that. So this is kind of nice, like a thing that we can do together, and it is really something that you should probably do unless you're very advanced in French, or yeah, if you have like a teacher who's teaching you French, or you know someone who's French that you can do it with. I really recommend doing it with a native speaker, just because there's a lot of jokes in it and a lot of like phrases in it that don't really make sense when you translate them. For example, even just in the beginning, so this is the first page, it has like a thing about like the different cities, little towns that are in the story, and the names of the cities are supposed to be jokes. They're kind of like jokey phrases. I've forgotten what they are, but basically if you were to read them you would just think, oh, that's just what the town is called. But if you have like a French native with you, they'll laugh and you'll be like, why are you laughing? And they're like, it's like a play on words. So this is really good, I think. One, it's kind of like French culture. You can see it as a kind of understanding a bit more about these famous cartoons. But secondly, you can kind of learn a bit more about colloquial phrases and French humour, really. So yeah, those are the two things that I'm working on. We're like the first page of this because it takes so long for Max to sit with me. Like every single speech bubble, he's like, oh, this is like a joke. And then he has to explain it to me. Like, after 10 minutes, I'm like, haha, yeah, it's kind of funny. Okay, next speech bubble. So it takes a while, but I'm excited to read this. And it's the same with the films. If you do watch any of the films, I've watched quite a couple of them. A lot of the kind of humour in the films is by some of the names that they call the characters. They're like play on words for the names. But I found that the subtitles that I had didn't translate like the joke about the name, because it's very difficult. I can't, you know, this is kind of useless me telling you because I can't think of the specific examples, but it's like, for example, all of the Roman characters, all of their names end in like particular, I think it's like us. So like one of the characters was called like antivirus or something like that. So they all have kind of funny, like they squish like loads of words together. Can't think of it. Sorry, I'm so useless. So a lot of it is lost in the translation is basically what I'm saying. So if you watch those films, I did think some of it was funny, but try not to be too disappointed, because I was pretty disappointed when I watched it. I was like, I don't understand French humour. But it wasn't that I didn't understand French humour, it was just that the subtitles didn't include it, and it's way more advanced, basically. So even though it's for kids, it's advanced. So yeah, those are the two books that I'm reading. And yeah, I'll probably not see you in a fortnight, but soon, okay? So let me know if you have any other book recommendations, especially books that come with like audio, because it's pretty cool. Alright, okay, bye-bye.